Hello again there folks, Haircat here. Last time we did the weird trial and fell in the trash hole. Or something. We fell into a void. The massive high school towers over all other buildings in this bustling urban area. It's like the school stands in the center of the entire world. Opening dialogue. Hope's Peak Academy. Brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the best at what you do. No ordinary student can enroll here. The only way in is if you are scouted by the school itself. And standing at the gates of the ultimate school filled with the ultimate students was me. Dots. Dots, dots. More dots. Oh yeah. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd been in before. What the heck is going on? More dots. Ugh. Garbage. I live amongst the garbage. Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because of the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell! Yeah, you're in the garbage. I was in a vast, dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. Heck of a situation to find myself in. Garbage! I finally am amongst my peers! But that was just the beginning of my problems. I was going to be stuck in there till I wasted away and... Was I going to be stuck in there till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen! Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what happened. Alter Ego saved me. He used up the last bit of his strength to do it. He sure did. I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit for survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of there. Behold the garbage! Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? I don't know. Garbage? This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me. Probably. Rocket ship. That's a rocket. And a tank? I'd better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. Doesn't that rocket look familiar? Or at least it should. Door. Rattle, rattle. It's locked. Rattle, rattle. No matter how many times I push or pull or kick at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. Good luck with that. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Sad times. Next I searched for some water. You're not going to find any here. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up, because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. You do that. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. Probably for the best. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left, after not being able to eat or drink. Can't be sure, but I think it was a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. Crunch. What the? Strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. Garbage! As I watched, a pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. Yeah, you're in a garbage pit. What could it have been? Garbage? Hello, garbage. Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched out my hand toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
Oh, hey. A giant piece of trash. Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was. I like your hat.
It smells awful.
Yeah, we're in a garbage pit. Of course it smells awful. Kyoko!
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. Can I eat your hat? What if that cup might be styrofoam, though? Shouldn't eat styrofoam. What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again. First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Water and bread! Thank you! I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. Oh, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up, then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Indeed. So how you don't belong here? You are not amongst peers. Let me live in my garbage. But, Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt. Or, no, to atone. Atone?
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So, you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that! You didn't abandon me! No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, it's not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... There was a reason I had to survive, no matter the cost. I can't offer you any reason other than that.
Truly sorry.
I really am sorry. Okay, let's see what your reaction was.
However...
Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to
In
survive
other words...
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason. Girl, come on.
Correct. In other words...
Very important reason. So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak Academy?
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did. Once. Once? Till recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot? But that's... She said she had amnesia. I have no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible! Amnesia? Dots. Then... Is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? Yeah, we passed the fuck out. I fainted and then when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow, that would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However,
And it could also mean, somehow, my memories may be connected to the mystery of this school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that, we would have all worked as one. The mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make it too big of a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us. One of us. One of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you for help. But why me? Because you're inconspicuous. Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but yeah, you're not you're not sharp enough or devious enough. I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything.
Hello, Mystery Makoto.
My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
Ugh. It's just like that dream I had before. Why did that just happen?
listen.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right? Dots.
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just... I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. Yeah, she's a little distant. What is the character trope name, like Kyudare? She's Kyudare, where they're standoffish and pretty cold, but then they, like, become nice and stuff. You said you had a reason for doing all this investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. Sometimes they have stuff after that, and
So-
sometimes they don't. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. The ultimate detective? And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. Whatever it took, I had to find them. Girl, you are making me do a lot of these reactions. You had to find someone? Who?
so,
Well, he was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to fight the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
in other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad? Is Hope Peak's Academy's headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us that he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the
no
headmaster.
matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? Dots.
I,
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
however,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I had seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then what did you see in there?
so,
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess and the dresser drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Is this some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's the layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had an stay overnight from time to time, and I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. I was so preoccupied with investigating that room, it was unforgivably careless of me. Alright, let's get back to her reaction points.
however,
Second floor of the dorms. So, what is it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
so
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself. And I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. Yeah, Kyoko's good at telling us ominous
However.
things. What was going on? It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
however,
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you, either. I know you're right, but that just means everybody but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial from Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
indeed,
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
correct,
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
that's right,
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
in other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the rules, the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. Huh? What do you mean?
indeed,
Is it when the luchador was in my room? I could have been the victim?
indeed,
You know what I'm talking about, right? You mean luchador? During the night?
I
I can hear them, you know, the footsteps of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases, just like this,
anyway,
which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow across the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room. Hi-yah!
correct,
I ran into your room and saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
however,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... whoever the master assailant was, they ended up dead.
correct,
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. If that all really is true, And I was right to not to expose Kyoko's lie. I'm glad I put my faith in her. Well, if we don't, we have a weird future where we all start having kids with Hina. I still don't know what happened to Toko, but apparently she dies. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. If the mastermind can kill whoever they want it means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, it is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but it seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So, what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. That's bullshit. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about whatever happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair? A despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. This is why there's a despair counter. Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. Such a bullshit. Chapter 5 end? The end. Nobody died. Except Kyoko kinda did at that one point. I got the rocket ship. 5 alive. Finish chapter 5. Whoa. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. The same people who put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. Not entirely. But right now we need to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Door? Oh, your skeleton key should be able to open that, huh? Rattle, rattle. It's locked, but... you have a way to open this door. Kyoko! Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room? Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
And we should be able to use it on that door, right? Yeah, why don't we do that? Hey, Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this? We can use that key to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then, click. Wow, you mean a skeleton key opened the door? It opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Farewell, garbage friends! I must return to being a human and not a raccoon. Finally! We're finally free. But there wasn't any time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Remember, the despair on that does not count. It has to be in dialogue. Or Makoto's thoughts. It has to be in the dialogue box. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up, like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. Did a song start playing, say, with What a Thrill? Yes. What a thrill. The ladder was impossibly long. Yep, so that song is playing. Clearly Makoto. No, Makoto. I don't think Makoto would have ever played Metal Gear Solid 3. He doesn't seem the type. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I have no idea where we were down so far. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. Now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Dots. Maybe talking will keep my mind off of it. So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family has always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society, which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. Oh, she do got heels. But it's our family's creed, and we do what we must do to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains... Before I came here, I was looking up info about the school online, but I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing that's something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because of how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
She's not sure. Reconnect. I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you were reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing to talk to my father about.
However...
There's something I wanted to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him, face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument. And young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
And if that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy that he didn't take me along with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had a chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But that's not true. But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. A shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family? To just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
I mean, can you really call him family if he's legit not been part of her life since before she could barely remember him? Come on, Makoto. Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I mean, I get it. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. The song finally stopped playing, even though it's a banger. It's a song that everybody knows, even if they've not played Metal Gear Solid 3. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
Right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain this is where we'll come out. I locked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. I don't know why it sounds like that. That sounds like creaky wood. The hatch opened with ease, and so, here we are. Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. Can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Probably need a shower, but we probably smell like garbage. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Yeah? Hatch. That's how we got out of the garbage pit. Never would have imagined that's where this led. Garbage? Nope. Trash room. The dump, in other words. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anyone throw anything down here. What's up, Kyoko? So, now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out... And I'm worried about you, too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried. Yeah, of course. So then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words.
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However.
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at a nearby surveillance camera. So, you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. Dots. I'm still super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna save that for later. Like, subscribe and all that noise. I'll shut. Ugh. See you in the next one, folks. Later.